Hello and welcome to Planting Seeds into Men. This is Bishop Frank Stewart, and it's always a pleasure to be able to come before you that are viewing this video and share what is in my heart to communicate to you about some of the experiences that I've had as a man. Today's subject is going to be the following: don't complain about what you can change. Ask God to show you the wisdom in how to make that change, and then work on making the change. Complainers typically are people that don't want to assume responsibility for their own actions. You know, when you study the Old Testament, one thing that God seemed to have hated was murmurers. When the children of Israel in the wilderness for 40 years, that was, if you could say it this way, I'm going to say it this way just for the sake of communication, that seemed to have been God's pet peeve. He really did not like the children of Israel murmuring, and they were complaining about everything. I mean, they complained when they were in slavery, and Moses delivered them out of slavery, and after he got delivered out of slavery, they complained again because there were inconveniences in their deliverance, and they wanted to go back into slavery because they thought there were some conveniences that they didn't have in the desert. And listen, when you progress and when you go forward, it's going to involve inconveniences. And so the whole idea today, men and brothers and young men, is that if you can make a change in your situation right now and keep it within the parameters of God's will, that's an important aspect there. If you can make a change and keep your change in the parameters of God's will, instead of griping and complaining about what you are involved in, work on making the change. Work on making the change. Now that means that it's going to require you to put forth effort. You may have to do studying, more studying. You have to maybe have to talk to some people. You have to take some risk to make the change. Because when you make a change, it always involves risk. You have to develop a closer relationship perhaps with God to do this. But whatever the case, don't complain when you can do something about it. That's the whole issue. And so that doesn't make you look like a strong man. You see. Don't complain and when you can do something about it. I mean, there are a lot of things in my life that I've seen I didn't like, and truthfully, it's not always easy to proceed to make those changes, because you know you're going to get flack sometime. You're going to get people that don't like the change. But I would rather make the change or work towards making the change than just complain and do nothing. And so that doesn't make well for you being a strong man. In order to be a strong man, you see some things that need to change, get involved and change them. In Jesus' name, you know. Maybe you need to be go into politics. Maybe you need to, go into politics. Maybe you need to do that if you don't like the social structure. Maybe you need to go back to school. Maybe you need to paint something a different color. You have to do something, but you just can't complain. You have to work on making a change. And that's the seed that I'm planting into you today, and I trust that you will take it, let it get deep down into your soul and sprout up some production from that. And listen here, if you have any comments, observations, you email me at frankstewart@zcfla.org, frankstewart@zcfla.org. So let me hear from you, and I'll do my best to respond to you. God bless all of you.